Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Triple Spill. We are back again for round 7. We are excited. Hello, Philippa.
Good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, wherever you're listening to this. How are you? Are you okay?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you.
Good, good. Hello, Rachel.
Hi, nice to see you both. It's been a while.
It has been a while. Off on your travels around the world again. Got a
Yeah,
cocktail in the background, we see.
yeah, always.
Yeah. Good, 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 good. Well, it's good to be back and catching up. And we've got a hot topic that I think actually is pertinent to all generations, but I think was a really, really interesting choice. We're going to talk about influencers, the positive, the problems, and the opportunities. I had to check my notes then. It's been a long old day. I think this is such an interesting topic because I think influencing, especially with social media, is has just ramped up in such a way, and I think anyone with a platform really can be an influencer, whatever platform or however many followers you have. um I was curious to sort of hear your thoughts. We're all of a certain fabulous age. Is this influencing a new thing, or has it changed forms? Because we grew up with influencers, but it was mostly through media, newspapers, wasn't it? What do you think, Philippa?
I think it's just marketing. It just comes down to marketing, and I think 10 years ago, uh, that's when it started transitioning. When people were getting onto Facebook, and now with Instagram, TikTok, all those sorts of things, it is huge. And I think for brands, it is a very cheap way for them to get to people, because if they can get to fairly minor influencers, then that opens up a whole audience that they could not necessarily get to, of people that are trusting the person that's talking straight away.
Mm.
It's just like,
Hey,
it's so
is, it, is, it,
easy.
is this your sales pitch?
But I'll give you some figures, actually, because I looked up some figures. So basically, um, brands now allocate at least 30 to 50% of their marketing budget, apparently, this is in the UK, on social media, and that's how they sell. It's the fastest growing section for marketing, as we could probably guess. 58% of consumers discovered new brands through social media now. So
Mm.
it's not, things like all the stuff that gets bombarded at us when we're doom scrolling through. All those brands are just coming to us because of influencers, and they know what they're doing. They hit it hard,
Mm.
They do, but it's unregulated sales, effectively, isn't it?
No, it is really regulated. It's more regulated in the UK than the
But it
US.
but it isn't really.
Yeah.
But well, maybe, but it's just anybody has a chance and a platform. So I'm thinking of influencing in terms of just people just getting online and influencing somebody, and not nobody checking the content, nobody checking what they're able to say. So the official brands like Marks and Spencers or whatever who's using
Yeah.
influence, yeah, I'm sure that's fully regulated and very well done. But my point is the unregulated salespeople, the people who can just go online. I mean, to be honest with you, even us, look at us, we could say whatever we want and push that out there. And we can say it about any brand we want to say it about. And there's absolutely no regulation. And it's fine when you are someone with integrity and you understand what your voice and opinion can do. But there are people out there who get online and they are using the power of being online
Mm.
influence in a horrible way. So
Yeah.
I maybe have a different view of it.
Yeah. No, and
I think I
yeah, sorry.
sorry. I think also what started out with influencers is people genuinely reviewing or sharing things, with integrity and look, I've tried this fantastic product. I just wanted to share it with you, has now gone into a completely different realm of people monetizing it for the pure purpose of making money off of it rather than just believing in the product. So actually, our influencers just salespeople now.
They
Yeah.
totally are. Yeah, they totally are. So again, I did look into this, and the UK is much tighter. There are checks and balances, and of course, there's so many sort of minor influences out there flogging you this, that, and the other. But it is very, very tightly regulated of what you have to put on the ad. You have to declare this, that, and the other. And we've got many places where we can report things, whereas in the US it's a lot more wishy-washy. There are regulations there, but it's kind of like, well, who really cares? Let's not bother following up, you know.
Dollar driven.
Totally, totally. Whereas we're the UK market is a little bit more skeptical, a little bit more, you know, who does she think she is doing that online? Whereas Americans are much more. I think it's much more embedded in the culture there as an acceptable thing. Whereas in the UK, it's embedded, but with a slash of or a touch of normal British. Who does she think she is?
I mean, I think also you can't get away from the scope of the US. So it's a much bigger country. You're going to have a lot more. The volume's going to be so much greater. So in a way, it's been easier, probably, I suspect, in the UK to manage that whole, if you like, regulation thing.
Yeah, and it is very strict about especially if you're given something or you're paid to do something, or you have to declare it, and you can't just declare it in the tiniest small print somewhere. It has to be front and center. So, you know, you can't just hide it in the sort of caption of whatever you're doing. It has to be actually on the screen. It's got to show that it's a paid partnership. It's gifted. That, you know, so obviously, I mean, gifted basically means that the influencer's been given it for free, but you won't get it for free because you have to go and buy it, and they'll probably get a kickback for it because you've used their link.
It's new to the whole thing in terms of actually how people get remunerated and stuff. Is not something I understand or know about. But
okay,
how many, you know, if say I was influencing coffee, for example, I've just got some coffee. Yeah. So I was influencing coffee. How much would
the brands are available?
Yes. Hello. What would I have to sell to get remunerated? How much? What are we talking about? Volumes and hits, followers? How does it work?
It depends. It really depends. I mean, obviously some of these influencers, it is their job, and they make a lot of money on it, like a lot. I mean, there's one, the original influencer in the UK is a lady called Lorna Lux. She's on Instagram. She's got, I don't know how many million followers. Very, very relatable. You know, she shares the good and the bad in her life, and all she needs to do is put a link up for, I don't know, a jewellery brand, sort of mid-range jewellery brand, and that probably, I don't know how many things she would do. So she probably gets sent a load of stuff. She will charge the jewellery brand to do that, and it could be, you know, it could be thousands to do one post. And then every time that she sells, because it's, you know, you go into her link and it's, you know, it's got her name on it. Every time she sells something, she probably gets 30% or 40% of, or even 50. It can be, you know, really high. But
I think Kim Kardashian got 1 million for one post from one brand.
Exactly. I mean, that's obviously right at the top, and then right at the bottom entry.
I can't relate to that personally, but
back to the coffee.
Back to the coffee and the G&T and all the other brands we'd like to associate ourselves with.
The thing that I like about, I mean, I'm not a massive, I don't, it's funny because my whole background was sales. So I get sales, I understand it. Well, old sales. This is definitely the new sales. What I like about it is that anybody has the chance to do it and to be good at it. You know, years ago, you'd have to go through hoops and learn so much and do so much to be able to go into sales roles. And now you literally just put yourself online, and it gives people a chance. You know, so at the most, in a way, fabulous meritocracy. But also, the one thing that always bothers me a little bit is the sort of celebrity influencing thing, because there's something about celebrities and their platforms that gives them the chance to be able to say what the hell they like, and out there are so influenced and following it when it's, you know, there is nobody managing them. So
well, they are actually.
They are.
The celebrities are the ones that they're gonna be looking at, because obviously if somebody's saying you need to take this fat loss pill, and there was a big hoo-ha about that a few years ago. I can't remember who it was now, but there were a few sort of like very minor celebs, reality TV show type celebs that were promoting fat loss things, and they got really pulled over the coals for it. But I just think the trend now is actually coming away from these big accounts because
I know. That's what I love.
they've got very big for their boots and they're
Yeah,
charging literally. If you
yeah,
want me to do this, I've got you. They're going to charge this, that, and the other. Whereas it's much cheaper now for the brands to pick out little influencers, like
yeah,
micro influencers.
yeah,
If you've got over 1,000 followers on Instagram, you could get a collaboration with a
Mm.
brand because
yeah.
I saw
it's easy for them.
Boots are doing that. They're sort of calling for anyone that has over 1,000, I
Yeah.
think, to join their sort of brand community. And I've seen other brands doing that with these micro influencers. So
They don't need to. They don't
we
need to. They don't need to pay them anything. They just send them some
mm,
free stuff, with saying if I send you some free stuff, we just need you to do some authentic, real content
Well,
rather
that's
than telling you what to say.
so
And then
that I was going to say that's the deal now, though, isn't it? The whole reality TV thing gave a way through for the average, if you like, person to have to not be a celebrity anymore. I feel, and maybe it's just because I'm, I have a strange life, but I feel that the world is wanting to move away more from these celebrities, or as you say, are milking it. I think everyone's a bit fed up with it. I read an article this week about one of the Made in Chelsea people, and don't need to mention who it is, but they had literally told so many people they work with that they were going to literally put them on, put them out there for freebies. So this person, and who knows if it's true or not, which is why I wouldn't mention the name, but they literally got a freebie, and then didn't do anything with it.
mm.
mm,
So maybe everyone's getting a little bit fed up with this whole, popular celebrity culture. I don't know.
let's hope.
It's
Let's hope.
I
nice
think
that
I
other
think
people.
there's something if we go away from the negative and the challenges around this, which I think are really, really interesting. And I think there's some generational aspects that perhaps we question more about some of the information that we see. And perhaps younger generations maybe aren't used to questioning. They believe everything they see, whereas perhaps we're better at it.
Yep.
I also think there's lots being driven by algorithm where we're not choosing what we're being seen, but we're being fed. That I think is a little bit
Oh
scary.
my God! Isn't
But
it
I
amazing?
was going to touch on the positives because I think there's something around the authenticity of moving with authenticity.
Yep.
So,
That's
the
the
positive
trend.
for me that I see is that with influencers or people generally just talking about things, it's easier to find your tribe. So the
Yeah.
world has got smaller.
Yeah.
You can access and have a platform and share whatever you want to influence. It doesn't have to be about money. It can be your thoughts. You can be inspirational. You can tap into learning, people who inspire you. And I
Great.
think those are the things that are really, really positive about influences because it can be so much more than just the money. It can be influencing thoughts or questions or a way of living or things that have inspired us all in how we embrace this stage of life, which we talked about lots of times. So what other things do you see as the real positive that you're really embracing with things that you are seeing that are influencing you personally?
I think you have to be very careful because, as you say, the algorithm will feed you what it thinks you're going to sort of like hook into. So, I mean, all you need to do is mention that you want to buy a new pair of jeans from somewhere, and all of a sudden, you know,
Have you ever had that you thought the thought and
or
it pops up on your
I've
algorithm?
said it in the
What the frick is
kitchen,
that?
Yeah.
I've
and
thought it and
you're
it's come
listening.
up on my
Me,
Instagram feed. What
Yeah.
is that?
Oh, it's there's well, you think about it with Alexa and Siri and everything. Our phones are always listening. So who's to say that it's not listening to what we're talking about when we're doing the washing up? And the fact that when
actually,
you
I heard a story a few years ago of somebody here, and she was a lawyer, and she talked about somebody who'd been talking about a friend um, with another friend, and the the Siri part of the phoned that friend, and the friend
Oh my
heard
God.
what it said, and there was a legal case around it, I think.
it
So
doesn't surprise me.
I always, she said to me at the time, she said, if you ever want to just go and have a chat with anybody or friends or whatever, always put your phone way from
Yeah.
because it's listening all the time.
That's good advice because the amount of
It,
Yeah,
times you have a conversation, you think, "Oh God, I'm glad they
yeah,
didn't hear that."
yeah.
I never speak badly of either of you, so we're good.
Yeah.
Should I accidentally call you? Please hang up.
Oh, but I think we're all influenced.
We are.
You have been in all your life, you know.
Yeah.
You put the
Yeah.
television on, somebody will tell you, oh, you must go so and so. Everybody is
Yeah.
influenced, and it's just the way of the world now. I mean, our kids, well, my kids, one of them buys things on TikTok Shop. I mean, what on earth
Yeah.
is that?
Yeah.
You know.
Just a new. It's just a new, as you say rightly, it's the new way of marketing. It's
Mm,
and people of our age are probably sometimes a bit. Me particularly, I can be quite challenging of it and quite critical of it. But
No.
but
I
I
know.
bet you've been influenced. I bet
But
you have.
of course, I've been influenced. But
Yeah.
the thing is, I love constructively looking at something. Being constructively critical. So I think really, I get it. I understand it. It's the new marketing. Some of it I think
Mm.
is brilliant, and some of it worries me. And I suspect it's the same with marketing all through the generations.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even marketing on telly. I mean, I suppose it could be a bit tighter because of the advertising um, authority or whatever. But people, the brands are still promising this, that, and the other, and very often they can't do what they say they're going to do. So
And
it
that
is just the
that
way of the
makes
world.
me not trust anyone anymore. So I've moved away. I think what I liked about micro influencers in the beginning is that there was an element of trust now. But
Mm.
for me as a consumer,
It's
I've
yeah,
completely lost that with anyone talking about any
yeah,
product,
and
because
that
I just feel like even the micro ones that perhaps are using, the joining these sort of brand programs with sort of Boots or other sort of local high street stores,
mm.
they're still being sent freebies.
Yeah, oh,
So they're
that's
not going to say anything
totally.
negative
Yeah,
about it, because
yeah,
then they probably won't get sent stuff again. So,
yeah. As you
no
know,
game against Boots,
I've
but
been approached for a few things, and I've had a learning curve with it. I will be
mm,
honest. I've had the learning curve, especially with these things aimed at women of a certain
mm,
age. And then you suddenly realise, oh, I see this all the time at the moment. Every time I go onto Instagram, it's the
Mm,
same product that's coming up. That's
mm,
because they are purposely flooding
yeah,
Instagram. So everyone suddenly thinks it's the next best thing.
mm,
I mean, there's a like I think it's a peptide oil that's just like every time it's the same influence that were trying to sell me something else 6 months ago. It's all the same ones, and now trying to sell me this cream. I'm not going to name the brands or anything like
yeah,
that. But and I've just that's where I've lost faith.
mm,
Totally. And I've always said I will only ever do things and I will only ever be really, really honest.
mm.
And I'm true to my word. I've only ever been really, really honest about any feedback. But I just, I think for me
but
personally, I've had a couple of really nice ones. Um, and I've had some stays, people have offered me free places to stay for content. And I'm okay with that because that's, I can be very honest about that and, bring it on if anyone wants to offer me any more spaces to
I
stay.
think
okay,
we're all happy. We're
Yeah.
all happy with that,
he's okay
Philippa.
with that. But the other thing I wanted to ask is, once I'm the same. I sometimes find that I literally have a thought, and it's on my social media. It's the weirdest thing. But then, as you say, it's flooded. But then my social media is just flooded with whatever it is. But then you see every single celebrity that seems to be current right now promoting it, and I wonder, are they actually promoting it, or is it just an AI? Is it just
Yeah, if you slightly hover over anything for more than a quick doom scroll flick, the algorithm will go, and then just like you'll find that you'll if you've hovered and listened for more than like I think the hook is 3 seconds, then you'll flick up, and then 3 screens later will be something else, either
yeah?
that brand or something relating to it. So it's
Mm.
so clever how it just gives it all to you, really. So and
I
then you
won't.
get fed up with it and say, I'm not interested, go away.
And it has the opposite effect, doesn't it? So I do think, as
Mm,
Does
easy as these brands think that it is to push, these ads and influencers onto you, actually, I think there's a very fine line now,
mm,
certainly for me, and obviously it sounds like for you guys as well, where you're actually more
mm,
put off. It's not even neutral. You're more put off by trying to be
absolutely,
influenced by somebody
mm.
telling you what you
absolutely.
should try that clearly isn't authentic.
Yeah, and
One
it's like,
thing,
don't take me as a fool. Just don't
No.
don't
yeah,
don't take me as a fool. I don't guy. I don't like it. I don't buy it, and I'm not interested in whoever's influencing it.
yeah, exactly. The one
Anyway,
thing
we should
that
put that on a bumper sticker.
the trend that I don't like at the moment is that there's some some influence out, or some people with social media accounts with a lot of followers, and I'm happy for them. You know, they've got a new. It's a business. It is a business. They've got agents and they do brand
Yeah.
deals and things like that. But God, how can I say this without sounding
Yeah. This is what we do.
catty?
We say it
Um,
here.
yeah, exactly. I don't mean it to sound catty, but they're clearly, um,
Not the brightest
not
sparks.
the brightest, not had the best education, which is why I'm happy for them. They've got this
Yeah,
amazing life now, and they
Yeah.
get to go to all over
They
the
probably
places.
are the
But
what
but they're trying to sell me stuff, and they can't even spell. They can't even pronounce things properly. I just think, how do you know what this product is? You
yeah.
can't even say
but
it.
they've got something right because they've got the followers.
Yeah, exactly, and it works. You know.
It works for them. So in a way, isn't that my point earlier? Is the most wonderful chance for anybody to have a platform. So
Mm.
that is the positive.
It
That
is a
is the,
positive. Yeah, you don't
I,
have
I
to.
was trying to think when this subject came up, which I'm so glad we're talking about, because I just think it's spot on for now, especially for our age group that perhaps don't talk about influencers so much, but it's such a big part of sort of everyday for all of us. I was
Mm.
trying to think, well, I don't feel like, I've never bought anything from a TikTok shop, and I've never been influenced. And then I sat for 10 minutes with it, and then I thought, cottage cheese. I have been absolutely influenced within an inch of my life. Cottage cheese I have been part of the cottage cheese revival.
But
It
that's
is
okay.
cottage cheese pizzas, it is cottage cheese, whatever. It is, I don't know who rebranded cottage cheese, but that's where I think what a genius, brilliant
But don't you think
innovation
that's
to
good? Because
just be able to bring that back.
cottage cheese is very good for you. It's very high
yeah.
in protein, and as a non-meat eater, I eat a lot of cottage cheese because I need to get my protein from somewhere else. So I think that's where influencing is good, because it's making you eat something that's good for you. It would be different if it was a specific brand of cottage cheese, and then you're being led down a route, aren't you, of having to buy a particular brand. But I think
But I think it's the innovation around it, because it isn't just like, oh, look at me eating cottage cheese. It's like they were doing all sorts of recipes. They were, have you hacked this cottage cheese thing, and you do it as a pizza base, you get your protein in, and like it was all over. And then I suddenly thought, this is the reason. It was like an aha moment. This is the reason why I'm buying cottage cheese every week, because I've been so influenced by what I've seen on Instagram.
just stick on a bit
I
of
don't mind
toast.
it,
That's all you
but
need.
I sort of realized I'd been taken advantage of, because I hadn't realized it had happened. I just sort of bought into it. And I think it's quite interesting, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. But talking about good and bad, I think there's a lot of stuff on there that is really, really good, and getting you to eat healthier. And there's a lot of accounts that I follow that inspire me to go and do some exercise and have a proper dinner and not just have cottage cheese on toast. But
Yeah,
yeah.
there's a lot of good. There's a lot of good in terms of. I mean, like you've just picked on something that does interest me, which is with influencing, is the health and
Mm,
well-being side,
mm,
because there's just a lot out there which is actually teaching people to live a healthier and happier life. And as
yeah.
you were saying earlier, Camilla, there's a lot more to influencing than just buying a certain brand of washing powder. It's about you're having a bad day, things are not looking good, and yet somebody can say something online or do something or be
Mm.
providing some information that can absolutely transform your life or even just your day. So there's a huge amount that is brilliant, and I love all that part of it. I think I just still worry so much about people having access to loads and loads of people and spreading bad stuff. But that's always happened, hasn't it? It's just that the scope is so much bigger now.
Well, let's be honest. I mean, all you need to do is look at a company. Again, can I name a big company? They're not going to sue me, are they? But a big company that sells chocolate, and it's got a picture of a nest with a bird in it. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, the food. It's not even food that they sell us, and they've been getting away for it for years. And those crisps in the tube, the ones that once you pop, you can't stop. That's
Yeah.
just garbage.
You.
Garbage.
Hard.
Yeah,
It's
you've
not.
just said crap
It's
lie.
not food. It's not food, but they get away with telling us to eat it, you know.
I think that's where the ads where I don't like it, where I feel like the regulation doesn't work, because we should all be able to make an active choice rather than be sold that it's something that it isn't. But I think to end on a positive note, like Rachel said, there is so much good stuff that you can be influenced by, that can inspire you, that can lift you, that can get you to rethink, what you're doing with your life and how to make, better decisions for your health, and maybe what you go and being more purposeful or whatever it is. That I think it's just making those active choices about what you choose to be influenced by and being aware of it, because it is a multi-million pound dollar industry that is so commercial. And I think as long as you have that awareness, you can try and steer and pick some of those things yourself that will really lift you and sort of add that value to your life.
Yeah. And on that note, follow us
And on
on
that note,
Instagram. Follow us on Instagram
Yeah.
for much more upbeat, wonderful things.
Can we influence you to follow us, please?
yes, let's see how good influencers we are. Can we get some more
Like
followers?
and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Thank you for listening. Ladies, as always, it's been an absolute pleasure. We'll see you again soon. Thank you for today.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye, darlings. Bye.
Bye.